Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So it's the end of the month. Let's talk about where Bitcoin will head in July. But I do have something very, very bullish for Bitcoin. So that may be an indication of what's coming. So let's discuss this and let's discuss everything else that's going on today. And there's the market bell. Welcome, 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 guys. The last day of June. We're more than halfway through this year. If you think about it, that's crazy. Crazy. And Bitcoin is above $31,000, which is not crazy if you think about it. It's very undervalued. But we're pressing against this previous high that we saw, what, a week ago? About 31.4. We may be heading there. It's looking very good right now. U.S. market is also looking good. If we could shatter through this 31.6, well, the next stop is much, much higher. In fact, let's look at that right now. I was looking at that before the stream. And, you know, let's zoom out a little bit here. Now, the reason why I've drawn this line is it goes all the way back here, right? May of 2022. That was a full year, more than a year ago. Okay, but what if we break above this? Where else can we go? Well, I think it's somewhere around here. Okay, so you could see we had a little dip over here, but then we had a little one over here. I would argue our next level is probably right around here, and I'm going to draw a line. So I'm going to say our next level will probably be $34,000. So if we break through 31.8 or 31.6, you know, our next stop could be 34,000, which is 10% higher than basically where we are. That's not too far-fetched, but that could be coming soon, maybe even this weekend. Probably not this weekend, but in July. But, you know, let's continue forward here. Excuse me. Excuse me again. The U.S. market is doing pretty good, so that's going to help things. And mostly it's due to encouraging inflation data, which shows that the U.S. inflation is going down. This is the core PCE price index, and forecasted it was supposed to be 4.6%. Actually came in at 3.8%, and you could see how inflation is going downwards. Okay, so why is this positive? Well, the further inflation goes down, the less chance that Powell has to do another rate hike, which he has been talking about recently, about more rate hikes coming up in the future. Not only in July, but also the one after that, which is September. But inflation keeps on going down, well, then there's no need for him to do that, right? So that's why this is positive. That's why the market is rallying today. And all is well. Now, Europe, it seems like it's the same thing. Inflation, overall inflation slides, but the core ticks up. See, core is tricky, okay? Because overall inflation is heavily dependent on energy and food. But if you discount those things and you look at like non-durable goods or durable goods, those things are still high. So that's why core inflation in the Eurozone is still higher, but overall inflation is coming down. I think overall with the rate hikes, they're working slowly, right? But it's not going to work if the governments continue to print more money. Okay? It's just a temporary band-aid. So overall, we know that the overspending has not stopped with any of our governments. So that's why Bitcoin will continue to go up, because more and more people realize, well, I need to hedge against inflation. I need something better, something that won't devalue over time like fiat, and that's Bitcoin, right? So as we head into July, what can we expect? Well, right now, Bitcoin is above 31,000, right? It's about to close the monthly in green, which is good. Okay, it's actually pretty amazing that we closed in green, or we will close in green, because traditionally speaking, June is a very bad month. In 2022, Bitcoin went down 37%. 2021 down 6%. 2020 3%. So we had 3 consecutive 3 consecutive years, down years. So we're about to break that trend. The last time we had a green June was in 2019, 26%. But here's the thing. I showed this before, right? Why you have to take this with a grain of salt is look at what happens after a bad year, right? So last time we had our bottom was 2018 when Bitcoin fell to $3,100. So you could see during that period, June was down 14%. But, of course, the year after that, the recovery year. So that's why in 2019, we went up 26%. So it makes a whole lot of sense that we saw green this month. Down 37% last year in June, right? That's a horrific drop, almost a 40% drop. I think that may have been the greatest single month drop that we have ever witnessed in Bitcoin. But of course, we're in recovery year. We are no doubt in recovery. I don't think anyone could dispute that at this point. I don't think there's anyone, not even the biggest naysayers in Bitcoin, is saying that we're going to go back down to 12,000 or 10,000. I think that narrative is gone, okay? So it's clear that we are in recovery. So it's no surprise that we're seeing green month in June. But here, look at what's coming in July, though. July is a very, very, very bullish month, traditionally speaking. Plus 16%, plus 18%, plus 24%, and then you had a bad one in 2019. But that's because in 2019 there was 5 straight green months, right? From February all the way to June, so it took a little breather. But in 2018, 2017, we're talking about monumental double-digit gains. Are we going to see that again? Are we going to see a 20% gain? Quite possibly. There's a lot of people that think that we'll hit 36,000 by the end of July. In fact, that's a conservative estimation. There are a lot more fractal patterns and signals that show that Bitcoin could be heading to as high as $50,000, okay, as early as July. So that may be coming too. All I know is this. We had a pretty good month, and we're going to have more. We're going to have a lot more, and July could kickstart something quite tremendous, okay? Especially with all these pending Bitcoin spot ETFs. Imagine if one of them gets approved. And also, let's not forget, I think people forgot, what about this lawsuit between Ripple and SEC? That should be ending soon. We could get an answer in July. If the SEC loses, okay, to Ripple, we will see a monumental explosion, not only with XRP, but with the entire industry. So think about that. There's just so many catalysts at this point. All good things. So just wait and see. Just wait and see. All right, what else is there? The MACD, this is what I wanted to show you guys. The MACD on the monthly scale is turning green. Man, I keep losing my voice this morning. Excuse me. Monthly scale is turning green, right? This is a monthly scale. So it doesn't turn red and it doesn't turn green very often, okay? It takes basically years for this to happen. And now we're about to turn green. And when we turn green, it's very, very bullish, very positive, right? So are we going to see the same thing happen just like before? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. So not quite possibly. It will. It will. We will see Bitcoin go higher and make a new high. Okay? So this is just another, I don't know, validation that it's coming, that we are recovery, right? So there you go. There you go. What else is happening? Well, let's see. Binance's institutional clients are still very optimistic about crypto. 63.5% said they are positive on the outlook of crypto for next year, and 88% said they're optimistic about next decade. Of course, this next decade, why would it not be 100%? Why is there 2.4% being pessimistic over the next decade, right? And even with the next year, why is there 4.8%? There should be no one. At this point, it should all be positive, all right? So, I'm positive. I'm positive. All right, everyone in the live chat, calm down, okay? Everyone in the live chat saying Bitcoin is dumping. It is not dumping, okay? Just chill. All right, moving forward. SEC to present response to Coinbase's legal defense on July 13th. Yes, I just talked about the SEC. And you know what? We'll see what they say on July 13th because obviously they have sued Coinbase since then. Coinbase decided to sue them back, and we'll see what they say. This could be pretty comprehensive because what Coinbase is looking for is definition on what's a security and what's not, right? Do crypto fall into security rules, which should be very easily defined. So we'll see what the SEC says. Is Gary going to play ball and actually list out what he's supposed to say, or is he going to remain vague? And I don't know what the courts are going to do if that's the case, because the courts already demanded that the SEC give a good response. So, what else? Ethereum founder Vitalik feels sorry for Solana. I don't know. This is kind of weird article, but basically Vitalik is saying that it's not fair that Cardano and Polygon and Solana have been declared securities by the SEC. He feels like it's not a fair fight now because Ethereum is not declared SEC. It's almost like he wants Ethereum to be declared as a security to make it a fair fight. But that's why he feels sorry for them. But overall, he feels like L1s with utility should not be declared as security. And I think most people would agree with that. Most people will agree. But speaking of Cardano, Charles Hoskinson stopped looking for aliens, I believe. And, he's talking about there's a lot of noise in crypto right now. There is. But it seems like it has been overshadowed by the BlackRock news. But before then, we were talking about the SEC going after all the exchanges, going after all the crypto, all the L1s, and possibly going after even more stable coins and wallets and staking. There's a lot of noise in crypto, but it seems like all of it kind of dissipated after the bullishness of BlackRock. So I don't know. There is definitely a lot of noise right now. Vodafone, which is a major telecom company, plans on launching NFTs on Cardano. I guess that's pretty positive for Cardano. Cardano's volume primarily comes from NFTs. Before, for a short time, Snack took it, a meme coin, right? But it seems like primarily volume is driven by NFTs. So overall, this is pretty darn good. And then lastly, people have been asking me about Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin because people can't refuse to believe, I guess, what I've been saying about them. I don't like Bitcoin Cash. I don't like Litecoin, okay? But they have been going up, and people are wondering why they have been going up. And in case you don't know, it's due to this. EDX, which is a new exchange backed by Charles Schwab and backed by Fidelity and backed by, I think not Pantera. There's like 3 other, Sequoia Capital, and 2 other major banks, right? And the reason why they started pumping up is due to this exchange, okay? Because there are only 4 crypto being traded: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. And this exchange is specifically created for institutional investors. It's not really meant for retail investors at all. And what I'm theorizing is because of this, a lot of institutions are coming in and they're like, well, just like retail investors, they don't quite understand. They know there's a lot of enthusiasm and FOMO, so they're like, oh, well, let me get into it, right? What's the cheaper alternative? Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin Cash is cheaper, so let me buy some Bitcoin Cash, right? And same thing on Litecoin. Oh, Litecoin's a little bit cheaper. Let's buy Litecoin instead. I think that's exactly what's happening, okay? Both of them start moving up ever since this exchange started, did a PR and started trading, right? So that explains it. Did the fundamentals of either one change? No. Litecoin is having their halving event, yes. Kind of like Bitcoin. They move faster than Bitcoin, yes. But overall, both are forks of Bitcoin. They're copies of Bitcoin, and they are not Bitcoin, okay? And if you look at a history of both, I'm not even going into them, they're a little rocky, shaky. And I'll leave it at that, and you guys could look into it. But that's the reason why they're going up. If you hold them, great, right? But if you're thinking about FOMO in, just be careful, because we have seen Bitcoin dominance, okay, continue to rise up higher and higher and higher. And I believe it will continue, right, as we recover in this cycle. And then in 2024, 2025, we'll see all the other major crypto start going up once again, all right? So that explains it. All right, outside of that, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of people in the chat going crazy about how Bitcoin is dumping. Well, this is pretty normal, okay? That's not a dump. That's a small little blip of a correction, okay? But people like to exaggerate. Calm down. We will still enter July, right? And we'll see how bullish July is, because I still believe July is going to be very, very bullish. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right. Happy Friday, by the way. Happy Friday. We're about to enter July. For those of us in the U.S., next week will be 4th of July. So volume this weekend, I know a lot of people traveling. Volume this weekend will be low. So Friday, even today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday will all be slow. In fact, I'm probably not going to stream on Tuesday. But that's still a ways off. But just so people know, a lot of people are outside the U.S. may not know that. Major holiday. Papa Bear Studio, thank you for that. Options expiration volatility. Yeah, today is the last day. So today the monthly close. And I guess what we're seeing is volatility, right? Whenever you have futures and options closing, especially on the last Friday of every month, you have sometimes crazy volatilities because the bears and bulls are fighting it out and trying to make a statement, right? Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Right now, it seems like it's one of those times. We're trying to close in the green, and I showed you guys how significant that is. It's actually very difficult to close in the green in June, right? But I think we'll close in the green, and then July, we move into a very, very bullish month. I mean, May was supposed to be a very bad month. You know, traditionally for stocks, it's like go away in May or sell in May. And yeah, we had a small down May, right? So we've recovered in June, and we'll see what happens in July. July, August, and then September there's a lot of signals and fractals that show that these 3 months could be very bullish for Bitcoin. BTC price is driven by liquidations. Books are extremely thin. Short squeezing make it go up. Long squeezing make it go down. Market makers games. Well, that's true. The volume is low, but yeah, it takes a lot of movement one way or another to drive liquidations. So let's see. In the last 4 hours, let's see if there's any major ones. So we had maybe like 100 million worth of shorts, and then we just had 76, 77 million longs liquidated. So yeah, I mean, these are a lot of numbers. I mean, hundreds of million, but I remember the days when we had like a long squeeze where we had like 1 billion, liquidated, right? These days, we don't see those kind of volume. But I remember those, right? After FTX, after, I don't know, 3 Arrows Capital collapse, after Luna collapse, we saw days where we had 1 billion plus, 2 billion, 3 billion worth of longs liquidated, right? And we'll see the same kind of thing going forward. Hopefully people have learned not to short Bitcoin. So, but yeah, maybe we'll see more of that. Hearing a lot around DFK, Jewel lately. Thoughts? I don't know where you're hearing that from because I don't hear a lot at all. So I don't know where you're hearing that from. Good though. That's good. SEC just spoken badly about ETF. That's why the dump. Whatever the SEC says, it's pretty irrelevant. It's probably because, first of all, they don't like the fact that BlackRock and Fidelity and everyone is coming in and spoiling Gary's plans. And also, they don't like the fact that Coinbase and others are not bending their knee, right? Or bending the knee. Gary's in a tough position right now. He's in a very tough position. Politicians want him fired. Companies he's going after is not really stepping down, not backing off like Coinbase. And now you have the big institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity saying, no, we want a spot Bitcoin ETF, and you're going to give it to us, right? So, I don't know. Gary, I think Gary's under a lot of pressure right now, extreme pressure. So, he's still doing what he can, I guess, fighting back or trying to fight back. But we know it's just like it's a losing battle for Gary. He's on his way out. Okay. And it's just a matter of time. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised by the end of the stream and by the end of the day, we go back up to 31,000 and then break through that. Like right now, I think everyone's attributing to like the SEC news or whatever. I think it's more like volatility due to the options and futures trading because this is month end. And I don't know, I can't explain it, but these traders, right, they look at certain things and they think it's important. For example, a monthly close, right? Whether to be in green or red, right, is very important to them. And they're fighting it out, duking it out. So for those people that are panicking or pretending to panic, stop. We're doing just fine. And that's not going to change. Cardano was having a good day. It was up like 5%. Now it's down. But Solana was also up. Now it's barely up. But Bitcoin Cash is still doing very well, and Litecoin is still doing well, and I explain why. I don't like either one, but I have to recognize they are doing well. And that's there's still a decent amount of green. Man, we got 4,000 people tuning in, wondering what is happening. Okay, well, I think this is what everyone's saying because the SEC said this, right? And somehow this like took away all hope. This is silly. This is absolutely silly. Okay. Gary's under a lot of pressure. Let's just put it that way. He's under a lot of pressure, and he may be on his way out. He probably is. It's just a matter of when. So he's going to try to do what he can. He's not going to cave, I guess. He's not just going to do whatever people want him to do. He's still trying to defend himself and the SEC. So he's going to do what he feels is right, I guess. But everyone else knows that's wrong. It's a losing battle for Gary. Yes, today is the last day of the month, and I've said this already, but for new people that are tuning in right now, know that today is the last day of the month. There is options and futures expiration, okay? And we tend to see volatility on days like today. Not always. Some months nothing happens, but other months there are definitely a lot of volatility. As people try to, when I say people, whales on both sides, bears and bulls, tries to drive to a monthly, a green month or a red month, and they're trying to set their positions for next month. And, there's a lot of factors at play. The market makers, they're doing their thing, right? Gary should be in more trouble than Elon for manipulating markets. The funny thing is, the irony of that is, yes, he has probably one of the most, I would say Fed Chair Powell has the most power for manipulating or moving markets. Gary also does, but somehow no one looks into it, right? Does anyone ever look at his trades or his family trades? Have you ever thought about that? Who polices the police? Because right now, he seems like he's just doing whatever he wants unchecked, right? Who knows if he threw a huge short on Bitcoin months ago and everything else. Maybe he shorted Ethereum too. Maybe he shorted all the ones he declared securities, right? Is anyone checking his trades? Because the SEC is supposed to be checking trades of retail investors and institutional investors and all these, right? But who checks the trades at the SEC? Who checks Gary himself? Makes you wonder if anyone checks it. That's an interesting thought. Does anyone audit the SEC? Nancy Pelosi checks it. Well, maybe she does. Her trades are outstanding. See, we're back above 30,000 again, right? I think this is all just a ploy, a shakeout to cause retail investors to panic, okay? Based on whatever, based on Gary's news. I don't even think it's an official announcement. I don't even know where Watcher Guru got that. Okay? But don't be panicking. We are in a very good position. We are going to end June in green, which is very positive, and we're heading into July. Okay? Look at those green months in July. Or green years. No. Green July months over the years. That's what I meant to say. Brendan. Nancy stores 10 separate private keys in her head. Oh. Petrolhead, I appreciate that. You know, I don't freak out these days. I really don't. If Bitcoin fell down to like 25,000 all of a sudden during the stream, I might be very irritated by it. But these days there's just no reason to be panicking. Zero. There is zero fear that we are 100% on the path of recovery. 100%. Okay? And we are slowly trending higher and higher and higher and higher. And fundamentals are still improving. Global adoption, awareness improving. FOMO is coming in. I mean, just read the room. You cannot be bearish at this point. If you are still bearish or you are a bear, I don't know. I don't know what else, how anyone can convince you, because there is nothing bearish right now about Bitcoin or crypto. You could argue maybe Gary's bearish, but that's just in the US. Even if he gets his way, crypto thrives everywhere else around the world, right? So I just don't know how anyone can be bearish right now. If you're in the game, you're in the game for long haul. You should be, okay? Just DCA and HODL. If you get volatility, take advantage of it and HODL, right? And cost average. It's really that simple. Hey, I just noticed CMC added a fear and greed index on top here. It's at 59 out of 100. It should be a lot higher. I mean, it should be like if I was rating myself, it would be like 80 out of 100 right now. Like not super, super, super bullish, not super, super greed, but pretty greed. Pretty greedy. Brent says, your emotions get better with every cycle. I know mine has. Yes, that's exactly true. Skidmark says, George is a hologram who doesn't exist. Well, I can't comment on that. The DCA portfolio, I can only show that on Wednesdays. Okay, so if you want to see how it's doing, you have to show up Wednesday night. That's when I DCA. But last week, or this week I should say, I just added more Bitcoin. You can never go wrong with adding more Bitcoin. If you're in doubt, you don't know what to add, just add more Bitcoin. Good to flush out the weak hands periodically. That is true, right? But what's going on right now is not a shakeout, right? Like, I don't know. I think some people are just pretending, or maybe they're not pretending. But while I was talking, all these nonstop people saying, "Oh, it's dumping, it's dumping, it's dumping." Where are we dumping? We're 30,000. What were you talking about? Prometheum. I've never heard of it. So, Jizz Bits. Is it a new meme coin or something? I don't even know if I should check it out. It doesn't even show up. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is this is going to be a good event. This is going to be an excellent event. So those of you guys that want to celebrate in Vegas, want to meet me, want to meet others, projects, other influencers, other influential people in the space, well, this is the spot. This is the spot. So still got 1 month left. 1 month left to show up. Plus, Sin City Crypto guys are there. A lot of you guys like them. But others I'm still trying to get. But mostly, this is a network party. This is not just a party. This is a network party. I invited a lot of insiders. This is what I like to do, is help connect people. But I love to meet a lot of you guys. I know a lot of you guys bought NFTs to go. But there's plenty more space. I don't even know what spot ETF is. What's wrong with the way we buy it now? Johnny, go do Google what an ETF is. Then I'll help you. A lot of institutions, a lot of people, even traders, don't want to secure their own Bitcoin. They don't want to handle it. They don't get it. They don't want to go sign up on a new exchange. They certainly don't want to self-custody it. Okay, so they just want to buy a stock. That's what ETF provides, a stock. And these fund managers, in order to offer those stocks, will have to buy Bitcoin. ETF is called Exchange Traded Fund. So basically, they're creating a fund full of Bitcoin and offering stocks. So that's what a spot Bitcoin ETF is. So the more people that buy it, the more Bitcoins these fund managers will have to buy, which overall is great. What stocks do you own besides Tesla? I bought a little. I don't actually own a lot. I had Coinbase, but the options expired. So right now I have a little Riot and a little AMD and a little Tesla. Actually, most of my options expired, so I don't have a whole lot right now. Tesla is doing very well. They're about to release their quarterly numbers. They were at 270 something, dumped down to 240, and now they're almost back. So their quarterly numbers, if it is spectacular, they will pump. But all the Bitcoin related stocks have been doing really well. Coinbase is above 70, which is surprising because they're in a lawsuit with the SEC, right? But they're doing very well. Riot has been doing pretty well, recovering back. And then AMD, I just threw AMD in there because I think they're getting into... There's only two GPU providers out there. You got NVIDIA and AMD, right? So there's that. And also, they came out with their AI chips. You know they're going to AI, so I think their upside potential is pretty good. So I took a little position AMD as well. This is a scam SEC exchange. Oh, that's what you're... Yes. It's the one they approved for some kind of special trading. Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on it. Other than it looks shady. It sounds and looks shady. That's pretty much it. It's the only... I think it's the only security approved exchange out there. Prometheum or something like that. And no one has ever heard of it. No one has heard of the leader. There's some kind of shady connection there. Thanks for a reminder. Intel is just like in a horrible position. I don't know what Intel is doing. Intel has totally lost it. Totally lost it on all fronts. On mobile, on AI, even on desktop. The only thing that's saving them right now is enterprise. Most servers, most rack mount servers are still using Intel chips, but that may be changing in the future as more and more adopt GPUs and AMD chips instead. Roba, I appreciate that. Rusty Bot, just stop asking, okay? Go figure it out. It's due to this. Supposedly, SEC says spot Bitcoin ETFs are inadequate. Supposedly. I don't know. Whenever you get like a flash news like this, like 50% of the time, first of all, it's false. Second, and then the other 50% is, well, doesn't mean that they can't change their application. They certainly can, but still, I think there's a lot of smoke and mirror right now. A lot of stuff that's happening. I think it's really just Gary. He's doing what he can to save his legacy, to save face, and it's all going to come crashing down on him. So he's doing what he can, I guess, to protect himself. I guess I'll just leave this up. Robert, that was the old mentality. I think it's because you haven't been in the game for a long time, just kind of like me. But these days, if you talk, no one wants Intel. Everyone wants AMD. Ryzen CPUs are way better and more efficient at everything than Intel CPUs. So, Robert, I think you've just been out of the game for a while. There's a reason why AMD is worth more than Intel in market cap, and why NVIDIA is way more than both. Gensler will go down as the worst SEC chair in history. I don't disagree with that. I think that's very true. I mean, he has let some of the biggest collapse happen, right? And somehow he still has his job. So, yeah. I don't know. The whole structure around the SEC chair seems to be broken, right? It really does seem to be broken. Like, Congress seems like they have no power over Gary other than to remove the position, but they can't fire him directly. It has to come from the president, and he doesn't report to anyone. It's like he just operates by himself, right? Like, who audits or who checks the SEC? It seems like no one. And he's in this power struggle or power play against other agencies like the CFTC, right? And he's just trying to become the dominant agency. He's definitely overstepping. I don't know. It just seems like the whole structure is broken. It needs to be changed. Dustan said, I'm super heavy Tesla outside of crypto. A lot of people are. A lot of people are only into Tesla. And they're going to report their numbers soon, so we'll see. If their numbers are outstanding once again for Q1, they will probably explode to like 300. They'll be back to a trillion market cap. See, there's no worry. This is what you call a shakeout or a fake out. Generally speaking, when you have something like this happen, there's some whales that want you to sell, that want you to get out, okay? You never want to fall for that because basically it was It was done on purpose to drive people out. You know, when you see these are called scam wicks. Like when you see a sudden movement, it could go both ways. But when you see something like this, that's when you know that, yeah, there's some kind of manipulation going on. Crypto a la George, I DCA $50 to $100 per day. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's $3,000. Anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month. That's a good amount. That's a really good amount. I would say most people don't do per day. Maybe like per week or every other week, but per day, wow. You're doing it right. That's for sure. Jared says, I DCA $50 every day. Congratulations. A lot of people seem to be DCAing every day. That's surprising. What's my favorite food? I can't really tell you. I eat out so much that I'm kind of sick of all foods. So, but I always enjoy a good steak, always enjoy a good burger, always enjoy good Chinese food. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I went on, because of my Vegas event, I'll try to drop some weight before then. So I went on Atkins again. Not carnivore. Carnivore's too hard. It's too hard to not eat anything but meat. So I went on Atkins again, exercising more, hitting the gym more, doing heavier lifts. So I should be in better shape by the time this event rolls around. Butter chicken is really good. I like Indian food, but I only eat like specific stuff. All right, I went extra long today, but I guess let's conclude. Overall today, well, it started good. Now people are panicking, but really it's still good. We're going to close the month in green, okay? Very hard to do. We're above 30,000. Let's see what July brings, because June has been pretty good. July, I think, is going to be much, much better, okay? And who knows what else is coming. Is the SEC going to lose? SEC going to lose against Ripple, going to lose against Coinbase, right? The spot Bitcoin ETFs. There's so much goodness around the corner. And let's not forget all the fundamentals of Bitcoin still at all-time highs and rising, and all the signals and patterns and everything showing Bitcoin on its way up. It's time to be bullish. This is no time to be bearish, in my opinion. All right. Have a good Friday, guys. Smash it a like. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow. Since it's weekend, it'll be 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.